to make money.
What's up, everybody? Couple of bettors coming at you, episode 41. Post the holidays, feeling a few LBs up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of food, a lot of drinks, a lot of fun. But it was great. Saw everybody, family, friends, you know.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. Bernie was out there these days, not that mobile, so he was just sitting around mostly and just getting some attention and free food.
Oh, yeah. He's fat, too. He put on a few LBs.
Yeah. I mean, he eats the same amount and he does less exercise, so it's pretty much
we got
inevitable.
Handed.
Yeah.
We encouraged it. We welcomed it. We said, whatever.
It's like, oh, you have a charcuterie board? We'll give him some salami.
Yes.
You know?
Whatever
So,
he wants.
good stuff. Well, actually, so we were not going to do a You Got Vegas this week, but we found one that was actually pretty topical in the sense that we're doing this from New York right now. So we're like, well, why would we do a You Got
Long
Vegas?
Island specifically.
Yeah, this one is You Got Vegas. Long Island man, West Babylon. Shout out to West Babylon, all the people that used to live there. We know a few, and we've lived there as well.
Yep.
Goes to Las Vegas, several cocktails, and ends up getting into a fight outside of the Flamingo at the a little bar outside there. Then runs away because he knows it's going to be, probably some police looking for him. The weird thing was he run through Harrah's, then through the Link, and stripped off his clothes. And he got up on a poker table, and what'd you say?
I just laughed. It's just terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it says here, he flaunted his genitals to all who passed, exposing his penis and testicles while gyrating. And then also he changed positions to expose his anus. So, I mean, this is exactly what my nightmare would be, is if you get into a blackout and then you end up like this guy, where you're arrested in Las Vegas naked after, doing a little gyrating on top of a poker table while you're naked. And he probably doesn't remember it.
No, the best part is the next day when somebody has to explain to him what he did and probably show him file footage, because why not?
Right.
And then you have to figure out, well, how am I going to keep my job now?
That's the other thing.
Whatever his little job is, I can't imagine anybody keeping that.
Like if he punched somebody in Vegas and they got knocked out bad, and then he was, they held him for a little while and he's got to fight it. This work doesn't have to fight. He won't find out about it. You can probably take a couple days off. The work won't find out about it. But being on a news article, not ideal.
That's the guy that punched Snooki in the face during Jersey Shore.
Right. Yeah, he
was a Long Island teacher or Jersey Shore teacher or whatever. Never worked again in
Terrible.
the classroom.
Well, sir, you went from Long Island, you went out to Vegas, you got a little wild, and you got Vegas.
Alcohol is a hell of a drug.
Yep. All right, next up, let's face it, people in the news, players in the news mostly this week.
Mostly this week?
Mostly it's just players. Sometimes we have the coaches and stuff,
Well, these two are my favorites.
Yeah.
The Chiefs lost to the Raiders, which is very shocking. I mean, I guess maybe if you told people in the beginning of the season, do you know that the Chiefs are going to lose to the Raiders at almost the third last week of the season? You'd be like, no way, there's no way.
Yep.
Well, now we kind of know they're tanking, they're not doing well, they're losing it. But more specifically, after Mahomes threw his second pick, they have a close-up of him sitting on the bench, and his eyes are literally welling up. He's crying. He's just not letting them fall so that somebody can see them. And then at another point in the game, Kelce can be found slamming his helmet into the sidelines, hitting the bench, almost hit some coaches. One coach in particular picks it up, wants to give it back to him, and Andy Reid was like, nope. No, do not give him his helmet back. They had a few words, and then he went on his merry way. So, got a bunch of babies on that fucking team. Not surprised, but I'm glad we found slow-mo, in-depth, in detail footage from it. If you want to see for yourself, just Google it. It's all out there, and it'll be forever a meme, I'm sure. At least of Mahomes crying on the sideline for years to come.
Yep. Out of the last 8 games, they're 3-5. I get they got a lot of reasons to be crying out there. And slamming their helmets, not impressing their girlfriends in the booth.
Nope.
You want to go take Russ?
Oh, we're gonna go right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Russ Wilson got benched. I was shocked when I heard that because I thought they had a shot at the playoffs. Apparently they don't. It's like 4%. So they have decided to bench him because in his contract, if he gets hurt these last 2 weeks, they have to pay him millions of dollars. So they might as well save it and just put his backup in. And then, he at least won't be injured. And if they want to get rid of him next year, he will be available and unhurt. And that's what they're doing this week. So, I don't know, keep that in mind if you're looking at the Broncos.
That's right. Jared Stidham's going to be starting instead. Speaking of some other quarterbacks here, we got Jacoby Brisett. So if anybody watched the Jets game, and the Jets are beating up on the Commanders pretty bad, and they yanked the quarterback and said, hey, Sam Howell, go sit down. The veteran's going to come in, and Brissett did really well. He drove him down, brought him back. I mean, the Jets had a win with a last-second field goal, and if you're a Jets fan, you might be conflicted about if you like that or not. But he did well enough where they said, you know what, give the old guy the start. When I say old, he's probably like 31. But give him the start this week. Again, I definitely think he probably gives him the best chance to win. And similar to this guy, Mason Rudolph for the Steelers. Obviously Trubisky sucked when he was in. Kenny Pickett wasn't really that good either, but he was better than Trubisky. And the crowd was booing Trubisky up and down, chanting for Mason Rudolph because he had been there for a while as a backup, backed up Ben Roethlisberger, did some pretty good things over the years as a backup. And then he came in, sure enough, this week and did well. And Kenny Pickett's ready to go. And the coach said, you know what? Mike Tomlin's like, hey, give Mason Rudolph the shot, ride the hot hand here and let him go. And they're in a position where they could be in the playoffs, right? This is important. So it's like, look, we got to fucking win these games. We can't keep experimenting here with a guy who's coming off an ankle injury or whatever. So, interesting stuff.
And every time I look at him, all I think of is Clark Kent.
He's got some hair.
Glasses on.
It's true.
Can't help it.
Then the last up, funky one here, Jaire Alexander from the Green Bay Packers. They're going to play the Panthers, right? They're on the road. They're in Carolina, and he's from there. And sometimes when these things happen, the coaching staff will say, this person's coming back to where they grew up, make them an honorary captain for the week. They didn't do that, and I think he felt slighted a bit. And he just said, yeah, I'm going out anyway. And he just put himself down as a captain, went out there for the coin toss, and he's the furthest away from the ref. You're supposed to, if you're going to make the call, be right next to the ref. He doesn't. He calls it in the air, overriding. The other guys were chuckling because it's like it wasn't his role to make the call. He wins it though, and then he says, "We want to go on defense." And then the ref was like, "Well, excuse me, does that mean you want to defer to the second half, and then they'll choose to receive the ball, and then you kick to them, and you'll be on defense?" He's like, "Yes." So it worked out because the ref could have been a dick and been like, "Okay, good, you chose to kick basically, and then you'll kick again at the half." But the Green Bay Packers were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" They, there was some reports about it and stuff. So we got out there. It looked shitty on them, and they said, "You know what? You're suspended for one game for conduct detrimental to the team." So,
it's a good example of entitlement right there.
I know, right? It's just like, I'll do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get into it. How do we do betting? Well, look, if you watched this last week, we had a special guest. Noobs was in the house. And
Noobie Tuesday.
Yeah, we don't know how much he bet on these games. I know it was definitely a good amount.
Definitely more than what I bet. Everybody bets more than what I bet. So.
Yeah. So he bet 4 games, won all 4 of them. So if you followed his bets, you were 100% winner. But if you followed me and Christine's bets, you were 44% winner. It was 4 out of 9 bets. And I mean, look, we started out good. Right, Rams, Steelers. We had those, those earlier games.
And that Steelers Bengals game. Actually, the Saints Rams game was pretty good. Then the Steelers Bengals game was also another follow up to a good day.
Yeah, then for me, my lock of the week was the Packers versus the Panthers, and I was feeling good. They were up by like 17 points. I kept saying, "Hey, my lock of the week, look at those score." And the freaking Panthers come back, and the spread was 4.5, and the Packers won by a field goal, so I lost that one.
I lost my lock, but it was just barely, and I clearly have an emotional bet, and I will be emotionally betting the Dolphins again this week, going against them, of course.
And it's funny depending on when you got that bet. So I bet that one later, like the day of the game, and I got it at Cowboys +2, and it was a push. So I didn't. But
Right.
you know,
I lost it
yeah,
plus
the
1.5.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because the damn Cowboys, that's what they do. They can't cover. Other than that, Lions, that was easy one. Easy win. Seahawks, pretty easy too. So those were good saviors. And unfortunately, Bills-Chargers game was not under 44 like Josh had expected. We kind of thought the Bills would just be dominating in that game. And
Yeah, they did not.
they did not. But they won.
They did win.
Win is a win. So I still walked home happy.
And to end the week, I mean, the Ravens are the truth, I guess, huh? Because they really made the Niners look like shit.
Yep. And Noobs was the only one that knew that because we both put our money on the Niners and lost.
Yeah, yep. But look, net, all said and done, you know, you're losing in one unit, whether it wasn't a big deal. It's usually just kind of like flat, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. But I will say this: there's stuff we always show you what we told you and what the outcome was. I did bet a few random bets, and every other random bet that I had lost. So
Yes.
I asked myself, what am I doing?
The Raiders Chiefs bet was not a good one.
We said we're not going to bet the Raiders Chiefs, and then we realized, well, this is the only game on. It's like Christmas Eve. We should probably be betting this game. And I said, hey, you know, I look back. What we were talking about was, we thought this one would lean towards the under, and it was like under 41.5. The line had moved a bit. It was under 40. And me and her, she goes, that's not fun. Why would you
It's boring.
Let's just
We
bet
were
the
bored.
over.
That's why I want to bet the game.
And we bet the over, and we're just sitting, why do I bet against the stuff that I say the opposite?
Because we wanted something to cheer for.
We did. We wanted
We
something
should
to
have
cheer
just
for.
bet the Raiders because that would have been more fun.
Yeah. All right, injury report. A lot of stuff going on here. One thing that sucks for the Vikings: T.J. Hawkinson, torn ACL, torn MCL, out for the season. And because those are, the ACL is a bad one, maybe he doesn't even get to start at the beginning of the next season. So we'll see how fast he heals up. But Vikings are banged up. Jordan Addison, ankle, questionable for the game. So if you're betting them Vikings game, watch out for those two. Zach Wilson, is that a Fugazi concussion thing? Probably, how many weeks are you going to stay out for a concussion here? My guess is he does not play the last game of the season, and that's the last we've seen of Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy got a stinger, but he's probably going to return.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Trevor Lawrence and his fucking, I'm injured, but I'm going to play, and I'm going to do fine. Who knows? Right now he's questionable. I don't know how many times you could be hurt and then say you're going to go in last minute, so keep that in mind before placing any Jaguar bets.
This one, they're going to fool me again. This one feels again like he's not going to play,
right.
But you don't know with this guy. It's his non-throwing shoulder, so I don't know if they could wrap him up good and give him some good harness or whatever. Waddle, they said probably not going to happen.
Right.
That's a big one. I mean,
it is a big one. I mean, do I need Tyreek Hill to not be playing more than Waddle? Yes, but I'll take Waddle if it's lasts that long.
And Will Levis with the Titans, Tannehill's probably the same guy anyway, so I don't really think that's that big of a deal. But C.J. Stroud being probable now, finally back from that concussion.
Yeah, that could be helpful.
Is a boost for the Texans. Mm-hmm. And then Jamar Chase, again, they don't really, it's like 50-50. I think they're really taking this one day to day, so that's something to be mindful of with the Bengals. But, they did pretty well without him, so,
They lost
Steelers. Yeah, but it was a close game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. It was close, but thank you, Steelers, for winning. Woo, woo.
But they were without him, and they really could have used Jamar Chase, So.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the games. Let's get into those games. Thursday Night Football.
Most exciting Thursday Night Football game that has ever played this season.
Look, we could play some spoiler here, right? So the Jets are playing the Browns at the Browns. Joe Flacco, who was just on the Jets the last couple of years as a backup, is starting, and it actually looks pretty good for the.
He knows all your secrets.
He knows all of our secrets. Mm-hmm. Although, he would. Yeah, he would know Robert Saleh's defense. Anyway, this is the one where two defenses, the best defenses in the league, are going up against each other. So I'm leaning on the under, even though it's very low at 35. I think I'm going to probably end up with a prop bet here, something fun. We're going to be in Atlantic City, New Jersey, at a sports book, primed up to watch this one for Thursday Night Football. And I'm going to bet something here. I feel like it's going to be something like, the opening Jets drive ends in a punt.
Yeah.
That's
gonna be
great.
Like plus 1,000.
It's not great. Minus 1,000. Yeah.
Minus 1,000. Excuse me. Sorry.
And then the other side, if you bet what are the first points of the game? Probably Browns for a field goal. This is the type of shit. You're leaning on the Browns here. I get it, right?
I'm not going to put my money on the Browns because I'm not going to be a dick. But if your significant other or loved one is not a Jets fan, I would put my money on the Browns for sure.
The Jets O-line is still in shambles, and with this pass rush that they have, Myles Garrett, who's going to block that guy? I feel like Trevor Siemian is just going to get murdered. So actually, wait a minute. Yeah, so Zach's not out there. Brett Rippon? Oh, boy. This could get ugly. Could get ugly here, so I'd probably stay away from this one. But it sucks.
I got to find something to keep me entertained, so I will bet on some kind of garbage.
If they can get Breece Hall involved and get him the rock out in space, we could do some things. It'd be great to get these Browns a loss here, But in any event, actually, especially it could help you guys if we beat them from a seeding perspective. What do you mean, sure? I mean, they're going to have 11 wins. You guys don't have 11 wins,
No, you're not going to win. You're not going to beat them. That's what I'm sure.
Well, the spread says 7.5. Probably should be 10.5, but we'll leave it at that.
Okay. So now we can move on.
Moving on. This is a good game here.
Yep. Cowboys, Lions at Cowboys. That is the only reason why I'm taking the Cowboys on this one. I love my Lions, but Cowboys are now I hate it because they're in their little comfortable dome, but it's similar to when the Bills are home. They usually dominate at home because they got their fans and it's their turf. We all know Dallas does well at home, so I'm putting my money on it. Lions still love you. Also, the Lions already are the division champs, so I got my future bet for that one. Thank you again, boys.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's good. Like I agree with you. The Cowboys just putting up so many points at home. I mean, it's like they're averaging 30-something points at home, and the Lions' defense is fine. Dallas is a pretty complete team. They have a top 10 defense, but the Goff and the boys I think are gonna still be able to put up points.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking here over, and I might bet it because I'm looking at the game saying, should I bet it or not? Probably a game I wouldn't bet, except it's on Saturday, and it's the only game on Saturday because really it's the Monday Night Football game that they're pulling forward to Saturday because they don't want to compete against the college football playoffs. So I'll probably end up betting the over 53.5. And if I do, it's a shootout. That's a fun game.
Yeah, well.
But I do.
Need the Cowboys to win by a touchdown.
Make the Cowboys great again. All right.
Well, we have reached the Dolphins at the Ravens for my it takes a delicate touch. Anyway, I'm taking the Ravens on this one. I did not know it keeps going. I forgot that was just that intro part. Because we all know my hatred towards the Dolphins, squish the fish. And I've been wrong the last 2 weeks because I really need them to lose. But this is the Ravens at home. The Ravens crushed the Niners, and the Niners are a scary, scary team. So I definitely think they'll take this one. And I will be ecstatic for the Dolphins to just get that loss in. Now, am I going to be terrified to play the Ravens or the 49ers in the playoffs? Absolutely. The Dolphins, though, I'm not afraid of right now because we crushed them when they came to our house. I feel like we can do it again, even though we're there in Miami. But New Yorkers, Buffalonians, they travel. They'll want to go to they'll want to go to Miami
to watch. Oh, the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, I mean, shit. If you're in Buffalo, it's just if you can get the flight out,
right? You'll go and you'll be loud, and that weather is not going to affect the Bills at all. So we still have a good shot. But in this game particularly, the Ravens are the better team. And I know that they're going to cover the spread, and I am happy to have the Dolphins lose this one. So
yeah, no Waddle. No Waddle also is. And shout out to Moose, who will inevitably text if the Dolphins win, because he will do that just like he did last week, where he said, keep betting against these guys. So it's pretty good. I've been watching the in-season Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
Christy can't stomach it, so if she goes to sleep, I'll put on that one. Still, after several weeks, do not like Mike McDaniels. I just don't get it. But yeah, like I agree with you here on the Ravens. They look so complete as a team on all phases of the ball, of offense, defense, special teams, turnover margin, everything. But it's gonna be a good game, I think. I mean, I don't think this is a game where it's going to be a 10-point spread, like 10-point difference. Probably going to be maybe they get it by a touchdown. The Ravens by a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
3.5 spread.
All right. Oopsies. Let's go. Okay. Next up, Buffalo Bills at home against the Patriots.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yep.
Woo! All right. Obviously, Bills. I don't know. This is a high spread. I know we lost to the Pats when we went to them earlier in the season, so this -12 kind of scares me. But they've just gotten worse as the season's gone on, the Patriots, and we've gotten better. So I hope the boys crush them. I hope it's 24 points at least lead. But it still scares me a little bit. I know we're going to win this one. Go Bills. Again, you're at our house. It's totally different when you come to our house because we're just loud. Bills Mafia, do what you always do. You always make me so proud. And I don't know, just go Bills. They're going to win this one. It's just, is it going to be by 12?
Tough.
It's a tough one. It could be, like I said, by 20. It could be by 30. It could be by 7. I don't know. You never know.
To me, just because it's like these divisional games, they know each other so well. It's always closer than you think it's going to be. This could be a 10-point game. Once it went over 10, I'm like, I don't want to bet. If this spread was 9.5, 10 points, I would probably bet the Bills on this one. But it's tough to have that 12-point spread. I'm leaning on the under 41. Both teams actually have a pretty damn good defense, and they know each other well. Belichick will draw some stuff up. Obviously, they did because they got the win earlier in the season. So, for me, I feel like it's like a 24-13 type of a game. Yeah.
I just need that win, so let's go Bills. Woo woo.
All right, next up, Atlanta Falcons traveling to the Chicago Bears. And interesting one here. We got Heineke for the Falcons, and then we're going up against Justin Fields on the Bears. The Bears have kind of hung in with teams whether they won or lost over the last couple. Like they definitely look like a much better team than the start of the season.
Yeah.
But I still believe here that both of these teams have pretty good defenses, and that these quarterbacks in Chicago's not going to be that bad of weather, but it's still cold. Still outside, a little bit windy. So I'm going to lean. I should not lean. I'm betting the under 38 points.
Yeah, I'm just leaning. I think it's a boring game. I think the Bears will end up pulling out a win. They're at home, too. It's helpful. But the Bills are going to be on. We have to get ready for New Year's Eve festivities at our house. So
Absolutely.
It'll only be the Bills on at our house, and I will only be watching that. So.
Oh, because it'll be, that's true. Actually, we could do split screen. All right.
I don't think that'll be your choice of game to split screen.
Probably not, no.
Probably the Dolphins-Ravens game.
Next up, Tennessee Titans going to the Texans. So it looks like it's going to be, we think Will Levis is going to be back from that injury, but it's very possible it's Tannehill. And then C.J. Stroud is practicing, and it looks like he'll get cleared from the concussion. I think in the Dome in Texas, I like the over on this one. I think that both teams can score and their defenses are not that good. So that makes me think that with C.J. Stroud on a comeback game, finally
I agree.
Because even though he had a concussion, your body gets a chance to heal too. The bumps and the bruises and all that stuff.
He's at home. He's gonna say, "I'm back, guys. I'm back. Don't forget about me."
Yep.
So that's why I'm leaning on the Texans, but again, trying to pace out my bets on things that I can actually watch, and will not be watching a lot of games at 1:00. So I'm saving it, but I do think the Texans are going to cover this one.
Yeah, maybe Derrick Henry. He threw a touchdown last week.
Yeah,
He's got. I think it was a stat. It was like him versus Ryan Tannehill. He's got more touchdown passes, but obviously he wasn't starting.
All right, well, this is a game I'm taking because, I don't know, I feel that the Raiders they have to be on cloud 9 after this weekend. Going at the Colts. I also would find it helpful if the Colts lose this week. So let's go. I'll put my money on the Raiders winning this game at Indianapolis. Colts have just been...
Yeah, I mean, they're still around, hanging around that wild card area. Surprising to me that almost 80% of the public is on the Colts on this one. But I think it'll be a decent game. I lean a little bit more towards the over. I know that the Raiders' offense didn't look that great last week. I mean, Aiden O'Connell didn't complete a pass for the second, third, and fourth quarter, which is almost unheard of. But I think they had the defense was rocking, fumbles, interceptions, the whole nine. So if they can get a little bit of stuff going on offense, I think they're going to be fine. And then the Colts defense sucks.
Yes, this is true. Let's go Raiders.
All right. Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we told you before that we don't know about Trevor Lawrence, right? So it might be C.J. Beathard out there. I don't care. I'm betting the Jags. I think the Carolina's Panthers are still trash, even though I bet against them last week and they did, and they covered. And I know it's 7 points here, but Jags are at home.
Yeah, even with Trevor Lawrence out for that small period of time in one game, they were doing just fine. So yeah, they'll be fine. They just, like I said, the Panthers are trash, and the Jaguars bother me.
And Trevor they have a chance. They have a chance to get in the playoffs, right? They got to win out. Panthers get nothing from winning.
No, so whatever.
Yep. All right, another one I'm betting. Rams at the Giants, and this one is my lock of the week. I'm betting against the G-Men, and I'm sorry about that, but got to ride the hot hand here. Stafford and the boys are smoking. They're rolling. They're putting up a lot of yardage, a lot of points. And, I know Tyrod's going to be back for the Giants here. I just think that the Rams are a much better team, and I think that, they need this one. They need it for the playoffs. They need to keep pushing, and I feel like this is a no-brainer for me. I think they actually might win this one by 17.
I mean, I agree. I don't know about 17, but sure.
Otherwise, you would have bet it.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm like just trying to pick and choose my games.
Yeah.
Lightly, and this was not one that I'm interested in, but I don't disagree with anything that you said. And I was a big fan of the Giants for a while, but I don't know. Now it's just getting worse.
Yeah, it's tough.
So
yeah, a lot of 1 o'clock games. Because there were, and there's also the Monday Night Football went on Saturday. It's a Thursday Night Football, so like it's a lot of 1 o'clock.
It's
only
a heavy
3
1 o'clock time zone. I think because it's also New Year's, so they're trying to get them out of the way. There's only one game in the evening, obviously, and then there's only three games at 4. So
yep. Okay. Arizona Cardinals at the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, the Eagles have looked like shit.
They're trash, frauds, fugazi.
With that being said, it's the Cardinals here. They have a very bad defense. And I think that Philly's offense is still a top 10 in the league. Do you get to a situation in a game like this, if you're not doing that well and it's late in the second quarter, where you see Marcus Mariota trotting the field for the second half? I could see it. I could see that. I might revisit this and post a clip of it because it's like I saw it coming. But
you're God talking right now. Jesus.
Yeah, no. But if not though, then then the Eagles should just be rolling. And obviously the spread is high, but this one could be them by 20 in a snapback game where they tell everybody, all right, don't worry about us, we're fine.
We're fine when we play teams like the Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the one you got to kick the shit out of them, though, right? It's like that's what Miami did to all these shitty teams. They said, "Look, I'm going to put 40, 50 on you,"
But I'm going to let the Bills put 20 some on us. So
yep.
Just remember that.
The one thing with the Eagles, which is why they had a team meeting about it, talking about turnovers. They're one of the worst teams in the league in turnover margin. They got to fix that stuff if they want to make a run to playoffs here. So we'll see what happens. But I'm on them Bird Boys.
All right, then we have the Saints at the Bucks. We're both on the Bucks. The Saints, not good. Things are not going well. And the Bucks, you start off terrible, but Mayfield's getting in his stride now, finally. They've been putting up some good wins against some decent teams. So I definitely think they're at home against the Saints at -3 is easy, and I'm putting my money on it.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, they looked at the stats. Patrick Mahomes versus Baker Mayfield. Baker has more touchdowns. He's got less interceptions, a higher quarterback rating, and almost the same amount of yards. Right? It's like, talk about the struggles of one guy and then the other guy actually stepping up, which he's probably going to get himself a deal here if he keeps playing the way he is. Yeah. So, I think this one too, Saints on the road, it's going to be a tough one. Bucks need it, playoff implications here. So I'm on it with that -3 points too because I think they're a better team. And for that to only get a field goal at home, nah.
It's easy. Easy.
All right.
So, for first time in a long time we are kind of going against each other, but not even putting money on it. I think the Niners will do just fine here, but I don't know. Like maybe the minus 13.5 spread is too much. I am not really sure. So I don't want to put my money on it. But, obviously the Niners are going to win. I just don't know if they're going to dominate. I think they're a little slightly defeated, not feeling too good right now. And they might hit another down slump of winning, but not demolishing. So I'm staying away on this. I've also taken them a lot of times on the heavy spreads, and they've covered. They're definitely due to not cover a heavy spread. Yeah,
with that big spread, 80% of the public is still on the Niners, even with that 13.5. With Brissett starting, I think it might give Washington a little bit of spark on offense. Their defense still sucks, so the Niners should really be able to do whatever they want against the Commanders. But maybe Washington and their offense can keep on the field to keep the Niners offense off the field and keep it relatively close. I would lean on maybe that this being a closer game, but that spread is pretty good. I get it. 10, 13. Is it going to be 14? I don't know. So staying away.
All right, well, I'm on this one. The Steelers at the Seahawks. Steelers made me proud last week. They're not going to do the same thing at Seahawks this week. So I'm taking that minus 3.5 spread. The Steelers they played the Saints, so that's why they covered, and they were at home. That's not going to happen this week. Seahawks are the better team, and especially being at home, I think this is an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, Mason Rudolph starting for the Steelers, but he's got to go to the road in a very tough place to play with the 12th man, Seattle. They're loud and everything, so. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you here. I think that total's a little bit low, so it kind of was looking at that, but I think I'm going to stay away from this one.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, and these are the late games now, by the way. We got the Bengals at the Chiefs. This is a big game. It's a very big game for playoff implications here. We're both leaning on the Bengals.
Pretty sure the Chiefs are going to tank. Shit the bed again.
It's tough. You got... the Bengals defense is bad, though. They're one of the worst defenses, so but that's...
The Chiefs offense is just screwing it up for them. Like, it's not like that they're bad in ability. They're making stupid decisions. They're going off sides constantly. They're got butterfinger balls constantly. It's just, and for us to say that the Bengals, or at least me to say that the Bengals are probably going to win this without Joe Burrow, that speaks volumes for the Chiefs. You guys suck. In Arrowhead, you're going to lose to the Bengals. But I don't want to put my money on it.
Yeah, it's a shame that Burrow's not in, right? This would have been a better game. Yeah. They would have been saying, it's Chiefs minus 2.5 or something like that. But, staying away.
I like this demise of the Chiefs. It's fun.
Now we got the Chargers at the Broncos. So we just talked about how the Broncos are bench Russ. And, the Chargers don't have Herbert anymore because he's out for the season. But Easton Stick was in. And, the Chargers did better than we thought they were going to do, last week.
I don't know what that was. It was weird, but time difference probably.
Yeah, but, look, the plus 5.5 points, not that high. I think Jarrett Stidham sucks. I watched that guy at the Patriots. Then I watched him over at the Raiders. Sucks. Guy sucks. So I think that the Broncos have just basically given up and said, we got 4% chance. It means no percent chance. Let's save the potential for a $36 million fucking, torn ACL. All right. The night game, Sunday night game, the last game of the week, because Monday Night Football is now on Saturday. We got the Packers going to the Vikings in a big divisional matchup that matters for playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah,
this one was rough, and I'm not so sure why I just wanted to bet it because I do, but I don't know. I think the Packers are going to win on this one, even though they're at home. But the Vikings play in a dome. I'm sorry, not that they're at home. The Vikings are at home.
Yep.
And plus the spread is a nice, simple spread. I just have a feeling that it's going to be the Packers.
They started out hot against Carolina last week. They were beating the shit out of them, and they just somehow let them come back against them. The Vikings have not announced the starter yet. So
that's another issue.
Nick Mullins has thrown 300 yards back to back, but he's got a couple picks in each game. So they're like, all right. And last week, too, he had a costly pick at the end of the game to really seal the loss for them. So the question is, do you hand the keys over to Jaron Hall, their rookie, or do you stick with Mullins, who's got more experience at the helm? So I don't know what they're going to do there. I'm on the Packers also. I do think that they can definitely win the game outright.
And they need it. They need to do that.
Yep.
Right now, Vikings are one step above them.
Yes.
In the seeding.
Because tiebreakers. Yeah, so that's it for the week. Let's show you what we're actually betting. Chance to screenshot it. We always take this and we actually screenshot it ourselves so we can look at our own bets. It's actually almost easier to look at it this way than it is to look at it on your MGM or Caesars app.
Oh, yeah, much easier. I have the Cowboys versus the Lions at -6.
Yep.
The Cowboys are at home. That is why I'm taking them. That is the only reason why I'm taking them. I love my Lions, but Cowboys at home, we've seen it. We've heard it. They do much better there. So that's where my money is. Then I have my lock of the week. Ravens versus Dolphins, because I hate the Dolphins. I need them to lose. But we all kind of know the Ravens are the better team out of these two. So that is it's not as much of an emotional bet. It's also an intellectual bet to people. So that is why it's my lock of the week.
Yep, then I'm on the Falcons Bears under the 38 points.
Boring.
I think that outdoor, cold Chicago, a little bit windy. Taylor Heineke versus Justin Fields. I think it'll be a lot of run game stuff, and it'll keep the clocks moving and everything else. And I think it'll be under 38. And then on the Texans, I'm going over the 42.5 points. I just think that C.J. Stroud is coming back. It's going to be a little bit of a spark for them. If Will Levis gets back in too, he's going to want to show his goods after Tannehill had a pretty decent game last week. So that's why I'm going over 42.5.
It shows goods like
Absolutely.
the guy on Vegas.
Yes.
You got Vegas?
Yep.
I have the Raiders, speaking of Vegas, +3 versus the Colts, because I think they're kind of on a little, high. They dominated against the Chiefs, and the Colts are kind of falling apart at the seams here, so I'm taking them. Why not?
Yep. I got the Jags, regardless of if Trevor Lawrence plays or not, at the -7 points versus the Panthers. I think they're a much, much better team, and they're at home. Also, Trevor Lawrence never misses games, so wouldn't be surprised if he gets in there. So if you get that bet early, the line is going to be better for you. And then my lock of the week is going to be the Rams -5.5 versus those Giants, because the Rams are hot right now. They got it going on offense big time, and I think that the Giants O-line sucks. I think Aaron Donald is going to feast on them. That's why it's my lock. They probably should win that one by 17. Then I got the Eagles -10.5. Seems like a big spread, but will they snap back? I think they will against a crap Cardinals team. Yeah.
They still suck.
Yep.
Then we both have the Bucks, -3 versus the Saints. Bucks are at home. Bucks are doing much better than they did in the beginning of the season. Baker Mayfield has better stats than even Mahomes does at this point, and the Saints suck. So we're both taking the Bucks.
Yep.
Oh, and then I have the Seahawks -3.5 versus the Steelers for the Sunday later game. Steelers are at home. I'm sorry, the Seahawks are at home. And again, in this spread, I feel is very doable for the Seahawks, so I'm taking them.
Yeah, DK Metcalf is a beast. And then we're both on the last game of the week, which is the Sunday night game, which is New Year's Eve night game. So you might be getting the festivities going at that point, trying to get a buzz going. Wait a minute, I forgot there's football on. Can I live bet it? Yeah, you can. Bet the Packers against the Vikings plus the 2 points. They don't even know who's going to be starting for the Vikings at this point. And I think the Packers are better.
Yep.
Probably going to win it outright.
And it's in a dome in Minnesota, so weather is not a thing.
Yep. So that's it, everybody. Hope everybody goes out there, has a fun time on New Year's Eve. And I hope, they always say, like, the world clock, is the world going to end? Probably not, because there's also a lot of times. They don't always say
Don't
that?
scare people. That was
Right.
only
that was
in
one. Was that
Y2K.
Well, then they said, wait, is it 99 to 2000, or should it be the end of the 2000? They got the year wrong. Remember that?
Yeah, we're still here, though, so none of it's true.
None of it's true.
Don't worry about him. It's fine.
World, hold on. And go follow us on all these different things. You can watch us on Spotify if you're currently watching on YouTube. This way you don't have to keep your phone open while you could just walk around and listen. Maybe take that jog and say, wow, 40 minutes went by already? These guys are done talking. I wish I had another hour of them.
I don't think
nobody says that.
No.
All right.
All right. Go Bills! Happy New Year!
Bills. Happy New Year, everybody.
Hey.
want to make money.